One Down, the comedy crossword podcast.
Welcome to One Down, the world's foremost comedy crossword podcast. My name is Brendan Eyre, joined as always by Greg Warren. And Greg, it happened.
Big week. Historical, Brendan. Historical.
Historical. They said it couldn't be done. I mean, they said it could be done pretty easily, but they said it couldn't be done by us.
No, mostly by me. But,
and we did it. What did we do, Greg?
Double clean. For those of you who are new to the podcast, that means Brendan and I each went 7 for 7 on this week's puzzles. Usually Brendan does. Usually I don't. I think I've done it. This is maybe my 4th time. So it's a huge week. And we say clean. We don't go to the internet. We don't ask our friends. We don't get hints or anything like that. We're
nothing.
We're purists.
Purists, you know? Yeah. None of this. Oh, I looked up one letter, but I would have known that. No. It doesn't count. None of that. So we're double clean. The first ever. And Greg, there's really nowhere to go from here.
No, I mean this is what we've been really striving for our whole lives. I got to rededicate myself to something. I don't know what.
Yeah, a lot of people would say this is the best thing I've ever done. Many people.
It's the best thing I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you were in the Army, so that's
I don't know why you got to bring that. I quit.
You didn't quit. You transferred.
No, I quit.
Yeah. No, you know what? You got to start reframing this. When a guy goes to a different athletic school in college, I watch football. They call it transferring, Greg. You transferred. Yeah. So yes, it was a bit tougher of a school you transferred out of, but it was a transfer.
Yeah. That's for those of you who aren't paying attention. Reframing is just sort of a buzzword for. It's another way of saying lying. And Brendan has always been a reframer, you know.
But for others, for myself, no. Also for myself, never.
Yeah,
mind.
For yourself especially. I don't know where you're going with this one.
Yeah, no. For myself, I don't even reframe. I get in. I just I cut the frame apart and paint an entirely different picture.
Right. You've heard about the framers of the Constitution. I don't know if any of you have read about the reframers of most of their adult life. That's Brendan Eyre right there. Yeah. Let's get to these puzzles because I mean this is a celebration is what this is. It's an hour-long celebration.
This is an hour-long celebration. But I do have to take a quick side trip. I don't know if you know this. I'm a big fan of reframers of the Constitution. I ran into one of these guys. He was just in Burger King going,
those guys.
It is my Second Amendment right to a free Whopper on a Wednesday.
I don't know. I think the Second Amendment pretty popular one with some people.
Maybe in your Constitution.
I do know those guys, the Constitution reframers. Yeah. So, usually it has something to do with pot. Most of those guys,
yeah, or a rule they think is a hard and fast rule about the police that they have no evidence of. Like, hey man, if you ask them, they gotta say they're a cop, and it's like that would pretty much shut down the whole undercover cop.
Yeah. He asked me.
I was deep cover with the mob 2 years in. It was pretty successful. And then they popped the question.
And then Machine Gun Marciano said, hey, man, are you a cop? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I am. Now, I don't know if Monday, November 30th, this was, by the way, an Emma Craven Matthews. I don't know. Was it Canada Day or I don't know what it was. Sometimes there's a reason for themes, but the theme was Canada. You had 4 distinctly Canadian-related answers.
Canada Day is July 1st, Brendan.
Okay, so this took a while in editing, but
Boxing Day, maybe.
No. Boxing Day is the day after Christmas, where you box
day
up
after Christmas, and then how about Thanksgiving? Canadian Thanksgiving.
I think that comes before ours.
Let's take a look at that one. That was October 11th. I'm not sure what was going on in Canada, but something had to be going on.
Something had to be going on. Anyway, you had 4 answers, and more than 4, but 4 primary answers related to Canada. You had Tim Hortons, you had Hockey Night, you had maple syrup, and you had saying sorry. And Greg, that's kind of rough on Canada when 2 of the 4 iconic traits of your country are a donut store and apologizing.
Now, is that because of the way they say sorry, or is it because they just apologize for stuff?
Both. They both. I say sorry in the wrong way, like a Canadian, but it's big. They apologize a lot. They're big apologizers.
Yeah,
which is a nice trait, really.
It's a very nice trait.
I mean, that's what you look for in people. 72 across, Greg. Professor's degree. That's a PhD. I don't know if I've ever told you this. I don't care for the PhD. Okay? No, there's too much confusion going on. Doctors should be doctors. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, is there a doctor on board this plane? Oh, I am. Oh, this man is having chest pains. Oh, I'm a doctor of medieval literature. Sorry. It's like, no, you're not a doctor. Make a new category, you know?
Yeah, I think you got a point there, man.
They're throwing these PhDs to everyone. A doctor's a doctor.
You can have a PhD, but call them something else, you know?
Right.
Professor. Right. Professor emeritus, or I don't know.
Yeah, something good. Maybe wizard.
Wizard's good.
Yeah, not Grand Wizard, though. Stay away from that.
No, you don't want to go there. Yeah,
they took that one away.
Nah, that's not a good one.
Yeah.
15 across. Life is short, and this is long, per Hippocrates, and that is art, which is that's insightful. However, Hippocrates was basically like the first physician, wasn't he? Because of the Hippocratic
Oath, sure.
And if I've got a doctor there, I don't really want to hear that from him. Hey, man, life is short. Whoa, what? But art is long. That's the good news here. Let's get back to the first part there.
Yeah, man.
I'm only 19, and I came in for a strep throat. You're telling me life is short, but art is long?
Yeah, I'm not even an artist, Hippocrates. Who are you talking about? You're doing a watercolor over there right now, where you're supposed to be looking at my throat. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to hear that from your physician. No. Hey, life's short, buddy. What? Yeah. 67 down. This was Cat Blank, Hot Tin Roof. That's, of course, Anna. And that was 1955, the play, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And then, of course, in 64, Greg... you had Fiddler on the Roof. And,
right.
This was the Things on a Roof era for Broadway. And I don't know if you're aware of that. It was very big. Other less notable examples were Old Man Stuck on the Roof. There was a comedy. Get me down from here.
Where's that coming? It's going over here.
There was, of course, the famous comedy Bomb, Dog on a Hot Tin Woof. That never went anywhere. That was a tough one. And, of course, who could forget the Phantom of the Opera on the Roof?
They did sort of revisit this in '84 with the roof is on fire.
Yes, that was a.
We don't need any water.
Yeah. I would often argue to those guys, I think you need water.
I would say you do.
Yeah.
I would say you do.
Yeah.
They chose to let it burn. Those guys. That's their choice. 50 down, poison blank, and that's sumac, which this is the thing. And I think I've talked about this on this podcast, Brendan, but that's when I just gave up. I'm like, all right. And it took me years. I'm not a good poison ivy identifier. I can't.
Sure. Yeah.
I can't get it, man. I think I have some sort of poison ivy learning disability where, they're working with me and then, oh, you're getting it, Greg. And then they get in the parent teacher conferences. They're like, he's not going to get it. It's not his fault. Your kid's stupid. And then, and now there's oak and then I find out later there's sumac and it's like, you know what? I'm going to start treating plants, like I treat, snakes, all bad. Okay.
Right.
Not going near any of them. Like, all bad. Oh, it's a garter snake. Well, it looks like a snake. Okay. Like I don't know what garter means, but if I see a garter mountain lion, I'm still leaving, it's,
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's always that guy. Well, don't worry. There's actually no poisonous snakes native to this region. So it's like, I don't care, man. I'm not messing with the snake. I don't.
Yeah, they're not native to this region. It's a good thing no morons in America have cobras as pets and find a way to let them go and breed for 17 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I knew a lot of those guys in the 80s when I was in high school. A lot of my moron friends had snakes. And a lot of them got loose. That gave them a lot of time to breed between now and then.
Oh yeah. The other thing is, this is not on you. This is not on you, Greg, because they would teach you in school, poison ivy, 3 leaves. Leave it alone. You go to the woods. Everything's got 3 leaves.
Well, and I've done research on this. That's their big. Hint, or that's their big leaves of 3. Let it be.
Yeah, right.
You know what? Everything has 3 leaves, or they all, even if they don't, they all bunch together. Like, right. I don't know if that's 9 leaves of 3 or 1 leaf of 27. I can't get them.
Yeah. Also, what do you want me to do? Leaves of 5, rub it all over your thighs. It's I'm not doing anything with any plant.
I don't think you should be using rhymes to help with something that has the word poison in it anyway. It's poison. How are you handling the other poisons, right? Yeah. When it comes to nerve gas, say, I pass.
When you see anthrax, time to backtrack.
Boy, that's a terrible rhyme.
No, it doesn't even rhyme that well, but they really stretched it for anthrax because they needed the kids to learn. I'll tell you, I'm pretty sure I'm immune to poison ivy only because I'm in your boat as having no concept of how to identify it, and I've never gotten it.
I still wouldn't risk it, man.
No, I mean, I don't go around rubbing stuff on me.
I think my dad's immune to it.
Yeah, a lot of people are. But 16 across, places to sweat it out. That is saunas. As you know, Greg, I'm a big infrared sauna guy.
Yeah, man. You can't really do that during the pandemic, though, can you?
Oh, you can, yeah. Because it's just very isolated, so they're wiping it down, and usually you're the only one in there. I've done it a couple of times. I'm not going to do it now. There's a big spike in Ohio, but when things cooled down a little bit, I went there because you go in by yourself. They sanitize it between every person. It's a pretty well run operation. But here's the thing: it's got all the traits. So basically, an infrared sauna, it differs from a regular sauna in that the air doesn't get that hot. Only you get hot. So you're able to stay in there for much longer. And it's got all the trademarks, Greg, of a thing that in 15 years they're going to be like, oh, sorry, that was killing you.
Yeah, it's or it's got all the trademarks of a shakedown.
Yeah. No, because it does get really hot, and you can stay in there for way longer than you can. Like it does work. In other words,
I don't know. This sounds like
very hot.
No. Actually, you don't feel hot, but it's hot in there, man. No, trust me, man. I know you don't feel hot, but you're hot when you're in there. Trust me.
It's this amazing form of heat. It's crazy. It's 180 degrees. Feels like room temperature. You don't sweat. You can do it for as long as you want, and the health benefits are incredible.
Yeah,
$120 an hour.
Yeah, boy, it feels like I'm just in a regular room. I know that's the genius of it.
Yeah, it feels like I'm in a regular room. You are welcome.
Yeah, yeah. These guys are good, man.
Yeah. Tuesday, December 1st. This was a Byron Walden. Really got a poet's name on this fella. But Rec Center was the theme. We had 4 answers that contained rec directly in the middle of the answer. And they were all, I believe, 15-letter answers, so took up the whole grid. Software company, home foreclosure, what more can I say, and pressure cookers. So, pretty good little Tuesday theme. Not bad.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed it. I think I actually picked up on that, and it was helpful. From what I remember, and it's hard to remember, but I think for a second I was a little stumped on this one for a Tuesday.
Right. Okay. Well, you pulled it through. 25 across. Biased against seniors, and that's ageist. And I gotta say, Greg, it's shameful the ageism you see in the corporate world now, because what it is it's a lack of foresight. Because, Greg, these guys will work for 10 cents an hour and some tapioca. Okay, they don't know. They don't know what's going on. You hire these guys, and they don't even know where they are. You go, oh, you must have forgotten, Francis. You already took your break. Back to work. You can get so much out of these old folks, and people are just ageist and missing out on that.
Now, see, some of you guys are listening, and you're saying Brendan is doing a take on ageism, and he's displaying probably the most severe ageism that we've ever heard. He's doing that on purpose. This guy's good. That's what he's trying. He was just being an ageist right there.
Ageist? No, I'm being a guy that's trying to get these people back into the workforce. They get bored. They don't remember what wages were.
Yeah, everybody that's older eats tapioca pudding and has no memory. Yeah.
I would say this, Greg. That's not true that everyone that's older eats tapioca pudding and has no memory. I would say that everyone who lives long enough does get to a point where they have no memory and eat tapioca pudding.
I don't think I'll ever eat tapioca pudding.
Well, nobody's saying you're making it that far.
It doesn't. What are you talking about? 69 across, element in a comics repertoire. That's gags, which that's not. Is it, Brendan? That's not an element in our repertoire. We do bits or jokes. I always love it. I hired this guy to edit a stand-up show one time. I can't remember what I was doing it for, and he calls me up and he's like, "Hey man, I was some of the gags on the first show came out better than the gags on the second show. I was wondering if you want me to edit these gags together, because a lot of the gags at the end of the second show were better than the gags." I'm like, Which guy was I doing the did I do the exploding ink pen in the first show and forget about it? What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, was I wearing googly-eyed glasses in the first show or the second show?
Actually there was a guy named Vic Dunlop who passed away, very very funny guy and nice guy, but Vic did a whole thing on googly eyes. He sold the googly eyes after the show and made a ton of money. And I guess at one point was running his mouth on the show about how much he made. And there was an IRS agent in the audience, and Vic wound up getting in a lot of trouble. Owed a lot of money for those eyeballs.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you're saying on stage. Yeah. And the thing is with these googly eyes, totally off the books, baby. Totally off. You're not paying tax. I'm not paying tax.
It was a funny. He did his funny bit. It was funny. Good guy too, man.
I love. So for those of you that haven't been to a comedy club, most of them, not all of them, and it's becoming a little bit rarer because people don't carry around their headshots anymore, but they'll have headshots of all the comics that have performed there, and I enjoy looking at them and seeing some of my heroes and stuff like that when they were younger. And there was distinctly a period, I would say like late 80s, early 90s, when the gag headshot was really popping off. And I feel bad for those guys because it's like good comics. You'll see it. It's like their headshot, they've just got a Q-tip that they accidentally left in their ear. Or they're answering a phone, but it's actually a banana, classic.
Man, that's a Bert and Ernie bit, I think.
Yeah, classic gaggery. And that did not stand the test of time.
No. It didn't, man. It did not.
There was once a horrible accident. They actually went out of business. Are you familiar with the Native American arrow through the head gag?
That was Steve Martin.
He had one of those, yes, but they were bigger before that as well. It was just kind of a headband with a half an arrow pointing out each end. They accidentally made one backwards one time with the arrow pointing in, killed a guy, went out of business.
I'm trying to understand the joke. I can't quite get it, but I can tell by the rhythm it's pretty good.
So if you can imagine the X-ray, right? What I was trying to get at, it's very stupid. What I was trying to get at is if they somehow put the arrow on wrong with the arrowhead facing in, a guy would just put it on anyway, and the arrow would be as if he had actually been shot with an arrow.
Still trying to visualize it.
I'll draw out a diagram, post it on the Instagram.
Yeah, sorry, man. I think I...
No. I appreciate your support. On a week like this where we both went clean, a little arrow through the head gag gone wrong doesn't bother me.
I think I might have had one at one point, man. Yeah. 42 across automotive brand with an oval logo. That's Amoco. Brendan, do you know where the largest Amoco sign in the world is?
Is it at an Amoco station?
Yes.
Other than that, I can't really nail it.
St. Louis, Missouri, man. I'm going to take you by it next time. I feel bad that I haven't showed it to you up until now. It's kind of right on the way out of the city near the zoo. There's an Emo's right there, and you like Emo's. So
I love Emo's. For those of you that don't know, Emo's is St. Louis-style pizza. They've invented their own cheese. It's called Provel. It's just provolone and Velveeta, but it's delicious.
No, it's not. It's not.
Yes, it is. I asked.
It's not. Well, they were wrong. It's 3 cheeses, and provolone is one, American is one, and I do not think Velveeta is the other one.
Well, then why is it called Provel?
I don't know, man, but I'm telling you, I've looked.
All right,
here.
let's get back to the
cheeses.
subject at hand. How big are we talking on this Amoco sign?
Big. It's the biggest in the world. I mean, I'm going to take you by there. It's pretty cool. It's right by the zoo. It's really neat. It's really neat, man.
Yeah,
it's also at the highest point in the city of St. Louis.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this giant gas station sign.
So you don't want to go?
I want to go. I'd rather go to the zoo.
You know what?
Or that cool museum, the free museum or whatever it is.
What?
Where they build weird stuff.
Now you can't go.
Banned for life?
Yeah.
Oh,
you
man.
can't go. I'm not taking you.
Now you're a grocery man, obviously. Two down. Quote famous cookie maker. That's of course Famous Amos. Was it just Amos's cookies at the beginning, or was he a presumptuous fella? You know what I mean? Or was he famous for other reasons?
He had that kind of swagger where he he figured I'm gonna work into it, you know.
Like
if you act like it, fake it until you make it, sort of thing. That's how Amos was.
Like one of those open micers that hashtags his bits, with the king.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the king. Yeah, yeah. I know several of the kings.
Yeah.
What was this guy's name? Joe Recca, my friend. He passed away about 5 years ago. He's just a fantastic comedian. And Joe told me about this one guy in D.C., and it was at an open mic. And I think the guy's name was Shoddy. And it was Shoddy's first time ever going on stage. And Shoddy comes up. He's got music cues, right, for to go on stage. And they start playing his music when he comes to the stage. And Shoddy starts walking up the center aisle going, "What my name is, what my name is, what my name is," and the place is going crazy. Like they're going nuts. They're what my name is, what my name is, and the place. These people are going nuts. And Shoddy gets to the mic, and the people are just like, "This guy is amazing. We want to see what he has to say." And Shoddy had nothing.
Oh God, man!
That's a guy. Joe, like most comics, when they see the new guy doing that, they're like, "Oh, this garbage." Joe is like, "I'm gonna check this out. This guy's got something, man."
Yeah.
This guy has got all the swagger in the world. He must have something, man.
Right.
And maybe Shoddy made it into being a great comic. I don't know. I'm not familiar with him, but I think that's who it was. I think it was Shoddy. Yeah.
If it was not Shoddy, apologies out to Shoddy.
I completely apologize to Shoddy. Shoddy, I don't know the guy, but I'm pretty sure that's just the name of the guy Joe told me, and I always love that story, man.
That's so funny.
40 down. April 1 target, and that's Fool. Of course, we're talking about April Fool's Day. Brendan, given what we've all been through this year, I say April 1, 21, maybe just knock it off.
Guys, how about just April, everyone business as normal day?
Maybe April, if you haven't gotten the vaccine yet, give it a shot. I don't think it's maybe we just let that go this year.
I don't think people are really amped for the old, put the air horn under their office chair this year, All right, let's. I think we should move on, and we're kind of behind. Wednesday, December 2nd was a Will Nettinger. We've worked with Will before. The theme was the outside of fruit, essentially. It was interesting. You had
cool.
You had
way to do it.
four clues that if you take the two letters on each, the front and the back end, they spelled some form of the outside of fruit. So Miles Davis's album Sketches of Spain, spelled skin, pea gravel spells peel, zeitgeist spelled zest, right this second spelled rind. So great little theme. Good job, Will. Kudos to you. I would say this. Here's the thing I found sort of strange about this puzzle. There was one clue I found strange, and that was 10 across film genre that includes Moonlight and Call Me By Your Name. And that's LGBT. And first of all, I haven't seen Call Me By Your Name. I love Moonlight. I think it's a fantastic movie. But it's kind of strange to call that a genre. Do you know what I mean? Like, hey, what section should we put You've Got Mail in? Oh, that's heterosexual. That's the non-LGBT section. Like it's a weird. That's not the genre of the film. That just happens to be.
I didn't see that movie as being LGBT at all. It's when Cher and Nick Cage, Danny Aiello, Olympia Dukakis. I don't remember.
That's the other Moon movie.
Oh, it's Moonstruck.
That's
sorry.
Moonstruck. No.
Yeah.
But it's weird.
I missed something in that movie if that was a theme because I didn't see any of that.
I mean, honestly, I think if Cher is in it, you can throw it in that genre.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't think her character in Moonstruck.
No. I just think that's weird.
I think she had a thing for Nick Cage from what I remember.
I just thought that was bizarre where it's like, yeah, there's a gay guy in the movie, but it was a coming of age movie. It wasn't. Right. That's not the genre. I don't know. It was a little odd to me, but I guess that's nitpicking. I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, you're a nitpicker, man. Knock it off.
Yeah,
people don't care for it, Brendan. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
36 across. What surrounds the pupil? And that would be if you're talking about when I was in middle school. It would be other nerds. That.
Oh,
Iris is the answer.
Iris other nerds did not fit. 29 across, small stone used for driveways, pea gravel. Now we had pea gravel as the base on our elementary school playground, and I think it was a purely
bad idea.
Yep. I think it was purely an aesthetic choice with no consideration as to the odds of 10-year-olds throwing handfuls of it at each other's faces.
Yeah.
And those odds are 100%.
Yeah. That's some poor planning right there.
It was a war zone out there, Greg. You couldn't go to recess without you had to wear your winter clothes all year round. All year round, you just had guys in balaclavas sneaking around corners of the slides, blasting you with pea gravel.
Yeah, that's poor planning over there in Cleveland.
Yeah, it was the Northern Ireland of pea gravel.
Yeah. 32 down, channel that became Spike TV. That's TNN. That's the Nashville network. Brennan, do you remember watching TNN?
I have kind of like vague memories of it.
I think that they knew they were going to be Spike TV, and they had the timeline. They were like, okay, we're going to start as TNN, and then when we project that in 3 years, people will be sick of only Dukes of Hazzard reruns, and we're going to go and become Spike TV, and then we're going to show just half Dukes of Hazzard reruns.
Yeah, and the first annual Men's Choice Awards or whatever.
That's a bad idea right there. Yeah, you don't.
That was a time in history where that was allowed to pass. Just the man's awards.
I can't. That reminds me of when I was in Procter and Gamble. It was in the 90s, and there was a lot of diversity initiatives within the company, and we were sort of, I think on the forefront of a lot of that. So there was different groups within Procter and Gamble, and there was like a female support group and an African American support group. And an Asian support group, and at some point they wanted to have somebody got the idea that it was a good idea to have a white man's support group.
No, it never is.
And the HR, like they had some like symposium, and I got invited to that. And I remember asking my boss about that. I was like, hey, he goes. You want to stay away from that, man. He goes, you don't want any part of that.
Yeah, don't get mixed in with those boys.
That's a bad idea right there. Let's move to Thursday. I'm calling it, man.
You're calling it? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thursday, December 3rd, was it Jake Halperin. Still not entirely sure exactly if I gathered the full theme. So the theme was unlucky break. and you basically had to break the letter B into its two component parts. So if you spread the straight line and the curvy lines, you get the letter 13.
That's the theme.
Well, I understand that, but both
pretty cool. Why are you taking shots at it? I thought it was
because here's my question, Greg. I understood that part of it, but I'm wondering.
That's all you needed to understand.
You know what? You don't have a curious brain. Okay, I'm asking.
This is true.
Is there? True. I'm asking.
I take most things at face value.
I'm asking. Was there a further part I didn't get? No. Because it's called unlucky break, and as you'll notice, Friday the Beath, which was one answer. So Friday the 13th, that's unlucky. Apollo 13, that was obviously an unlucky mission. But then the final answer is Ocean's 13. Was that unlucky?
Being able to remotely work from the comfort of your home is great, but not being near coworkers at your office can lead to delays in completing projects. One way to make sure your workflow stays on track is to use Monday.com. Monday.com allows you to track work projects, collaborate anywhere, and manage your workload. With it, you can see when certain projects are complete, what your team members are working on, and when you can expect projects to be finalized. While my team has been working from home, we've been able to view all of our projects that people are working on, and it's cut meeting times and prevented projects from slowing down or being bottlenecked. On top of bringing teams together, Monday.com also knows how important it is to integrate with other services that a business might use. Monday.com works great with services like G Suite, Zendesk, Facebook ads, and more. So if you want your team to be more effective than ever, visit Monday.com for a free 2-week trial.
Support for this podcast comes from Comedy Central and their podcast, The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Ears Edition. On the podcast, you can listen to full episodes, revisit your favorite interviews, and hear exclusive extras. And as always, you'll hear from Trevor and the correspondents on the biggest news stories of today. Whether you've watched The Daily Show for years or you're tuning in for the first time, dive into today's news, ears first. Listen to The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Ears Edition, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Support for this podcast comes from Progressive. What would you do with an extra $800? Buy a plane ticket? Pay down your student loan? Treat yourself to those shoes you've been eyeing. With Progressive, you could find out. Drivers who switch and save an average of $796 on car insurance. Get your quote online at Progressive.com and see how much you could be saving. National average annual car insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2019. Support for this podcast comes from Progressive. What would you do with an extra $800? Buy a plane ticket? Pay down your student loan? Treat yourself to those shoes you've been eyeing. With Progressive, you could find out. Drivers who switch and save an average of $796 on car insurance. Get your quote online at Progressive.com and see how much you could be saving. National average annual car insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2019.
I think just the letter 13, the number 13 is unlucky.
But as you can tell, you see what I'm getting at? Those first two answers are in themselves with have elements of unluckiness. Okay, so there wasn't more. There wasn't more than I thought. That's fine. Just wanted to look into it. And God forbid I should ask a question, Greg. Jeez, oh Rizzo.
Hey, watch your language on this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
37 across championship memento. That's ring. Now, I don't know if you know this story. It's one of my favorites. Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, visited the Kremlin and met with Vladimir Putin. This was some years ago. Vladimir Putin asked to look at his Super Bowl ring, one of his Super Bowl rings. Robert Kraft gave it to him. Their sort of photo op ended. Putin without thinking, put the ring in his pocket. They go on. Kraft's people later contact the Kremlin and Putin's people and say, there was a mix-up. Putin accidentally kept Robert Kraft's Super Bowl ring. And they said to him, oh, no, that was a gift. And he said, excuse me? And they go, yeah, that was a gift. Is there anything else? And they go, So Putin just stole a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, he's a bully, man.
He just took Robert Kraft's Super Bowl. Yeah, he just took his Super Bowl ring, and his people go, no, that was a gift. Move along.
Now I'm regretting, and I am name dropping, but one time I asked Tony La Russa let me wear his Cardinals World Series ring. I should have just taken it.
I don't think you have Putin power.
I do not have the juice that Putin has.
I think you go, actually, that was a gift. And Tony La Russa would go, okay, well, I'm sending some guys over to your house right now. And you'd go, you know what?
I think he would just come over to my house and take it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tony. Sorry.
Yeah.
17 across, word before streets and girls in film titles. That's mean, Brennan. That refers to two films from very different eras. You had Mean Streets back in the early 70s, and you had Mean Girls in the 2000s, right?
Yeah, either at the earliest late 90s, but I think 2000s, yeah.
Which, now, I don't know if you ever saw this sort of crossover project. It was a really good movie. Mean Street Girls was... It was something else, man. I don't know why it never did better, but it was, Lindsay Lohan and Deniro get into it at one point, and they're fighting, and Keitel and Tina Fey step in. It's a great film. I don't know.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, you should check it out, man.
I saw a different one. I saw Mean Street Girls on Cinemax one night.
That's a different film.
Yeah, it wasn't the one you were talking about.
No, those girls.
Yeah, they weren't as mean as you would have thought. But
no,
27 across, something to teach a dog. That's a trick. You have to be aware of this, Greg, because I once thought I was in. What do we got here?
That's a Monday clue of the week right there, man.
It is. But here's the thing: you got to be aware of this, because I once thought I was in on a big-time real estate deal with a chocolate lab, and it turns out that handshake meant nothing to him.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
really?
It was a trick. The whole thing was a trick. He didn't know what he was shaking on. You know, we're 1.6 million deep into a development in Palm Springs, and next thing I find out, he was doing it for a treat. You guys' handshake meant nothing.
I'm sorry you went through that, man.
No, we were underwater on that thing big time, and he didn't carry his weight.
Yeah, man. 65 across, preppy clothing brand. That's J. Crew. I wouldn't call it preppy. It's I find it suitable wear for most social occasions. If you want to have lunch at the club or something like that, I don't know why.
What club, Greg?
The club. Yeah.
Is this the Procter and Gamble White Men's Club?
That's most of the members are white. Yes, I'm not saying that it is. We certainly don't exclude anyone. No.
J. Crew, they've moved away a little bit from that fully preppy look. You can get some cool stuff at J. Crew. I say. I mean, it's a little overpriced for my taste. I think you're talking. A guy
that spends about $600 on shoes.
I've cut way back on shoes. I've got my eye on one pair.
Yeah, we're in a pandemic. Of course, you've cut back on shoes.
Now you just say things that I've done responsibly in a way that sounds angry.
Well, could you even imagine a scenario where you talking about shoes would just really make me angry?
Well, yeah, because I haven't given you shoe advice when you asked for it. But here's the thing, Greg.
6 weeks ago on this podcast,
we have different taste in shoes. I never asked you for anything, man. I know I'm going to send you the shoes.
And I asked you for help, and you didn't give me any, and now I don't want your stupid help.
Well,
I'll go to somebody else.
Problem.
I'll go to, you know what? I'm going to go to somebody. I'm going to go ask Eyre. I think he knows more about shoes than you.
Okay, go ahead. Good luck.
Andrew, I like Andrew's shoes better than yours.
Yeah, Andrew rips me off shoe style. The guy's wearing Air Max 90s. That's my signature
Casey's
shoe.
Got good shoe recommendations.
What? I don't even think that guy has shoes. let alone recommendations.
I always bring up Casey because that's the guy that really usually that gets under Brendan's skin because that's a guy that kicked Brendan out of Weight Watchers.
Nobody kicked me out of Weight Watcher. You know what? Yeah,
you get see how he gets all upset.
You're a bully with a boat. This was a celebratory episode.
I know we did great. I am celebrating. This is celebrating for me. I'm enjoying myself.
Dude, good. Have a blast. Have a blast, Greg. 2 down, hard nut to crack. That's Acorn. I've saved you the trouble. Don't even bother. They taste they taste terrible, Greg.
Yeah, I never would imagine this was that good. Yeah. What are the squirrels thinking?
Yeah, because I've eaten, when I was a kid, I ate acorn. I ate like 50 acorns to see if I must have got bad ones, because all these animals are eating these things. And they got a green meat in there. It looks like a pistachio, so you get excited, and it's horrible. And then you're growing oak trees in your stomach, which nobody likes.
31 down, bit of insolence. That's lip, and I think that term's good because, it doesn't have as much of an effect for a dad. Be like, I don't want to hear any bit of insolence, okay? You bit of insolence off, you're up. You're upstairs for a week.
I don't know what you mean, Dad.
Hey, that right there sounds like a bit of insolence, and I don't want to hear your bit of insolence.
This is, this sentence is too long what you're saying, Dad.
Now you're grounded for 6 weeks.
Yeah, man, that's pretty insolent of yourself. Friday.
8 weeks.
Friday, December 4th. This was a Patty Verrill and a Doug Peterson. Classic Friday no-seamer.
I don't know these people.
I
don't think I've worked with them.
I think we've had Doug. We've had some run-ins with Doug. I don't know Patty too well. 15 across. Fear of public places. That's agoraphobia. Now I have agoraphobia, and I've mostly overcome it. But talk about being prepared for COVID, Greg. I've been afraid of the grocery store for 30 years. Okay, this means when they said stay inside, I said I already do. No problem. Done. Yeah. I'm like a one-eyed man in the land of the blind. Everything they have asked, hey, don't shake people's hands, don't socialize, done and done. Haven't done it my whole life.
Okay, man. I was trying to decide whether you were actually agoraphobic or not.
Yes. Yeah. I am. Well, yeah. I mean, my anxiety disorders are such that most phobias I have.
Really?
It's not. Well, agoraphobia is one of them. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't like being in public places?
I don't like being in crowds. So that's not quite agoraphobic. It's a little bit different, but it's similar.
So if it was like some sort of music festival, you would enjoy.
A music festival is my nightmare.
Yeah.
My nightmare.
Yeah. You want to do Bonnaroo next year?
I'd love to. You got it in? That's the other thing I got is I never give in to my mental illness. I just say yes to all of the things I'm deathly afraid of. And then it comes back to really bite me.
You're a champion for it.
I have horrific stage fright and am a professional stand-up comedian. I'm a moron.
24 across. Speculative fiction writer Stevenson. That's Neil Stevenson. And I guess I don't know who this Neil guy is, but I've been told when I kind of map out the next year of my career, usually most people see that as speculative fiction. It certainly was in 2020.
Sure. A couple years ago, you won the Nebula Award for Best Sci-Fi Story. And you just thought you were going to do another TV set. That was a little harsh.
Gosh, man.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to roll with what you were saying, and
I would have gone with it. I just didn't get it that much. I'm not.
Well, I know I didn't know any really speculative fiction awards. I happen to be familiar with the Nebula Award. So
What's a Nebula? Was that character in
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah. And then wasn't that a Clue last week? Maybe the Nebula Award.
We've had Nebula come up before.
Yeah. No, I think it was the Clue, and then sci-fi was the answer, maybe.
25 across, go away, and that's vanish. Not quite the same thing. You know what I mean? Like if you see a magician and he goes, for my next trick, I'll be vanishing. And it's like, hey, you just left, man. We all saw you.
Yeah, vanish. Yeah. I was there, and then I wasn't. Okay.
Yeah, and don't check your wallets.
21 down, leaves home, and that's Teapot. I mean, I think that's a strong contender for Clue of the week. The only reason I would say that it's not is because I think that play on word with leaves. We gave that award out in the last month, I think.
Did we? Okay, because I had that nominated.
It's really good, though. It's a really, really good Clue.
I had that nominated as well. 7 down, world's deepest river. That's the Congo. And the source I found said, quote, scientists believe the Congo to be deeper than 750 feet at some points, or more than deep enough to submerge New York's iconic MetLife Tower, end quote. And I think whoever wrote that is really trying to build up some buzz for the MetLife Tower. Because I know tons of buildings in New York, Greg. I don't know the MetLife Tower. It's not iconic.
It is.
What is it? Which one is
it? It's that thing right by Grand Central, I think. You know how you kind of got to go under it?
No.
Yeah, it's right by Grand Central, I believe, on Lex.
Oh, that's a deep river. Never mind. Well written.
It's an icon. It's a big. You notice the bill. I think it's why you can't get around Grand Central.
You have to do that crazy loop around. That's insane.
Yeah, and
nobody
it's because
knows
of
what's
that building.
happening.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so that is iconic, and that's also a tall building. So that is a deep river.
Deep river.
Let's check out Saturday, December 5th. This was a Brendan Emmett Quigley. Again, no theme.
God, man, this was. I didn't get the 7 gold stars because I got this on Sunday morning. I just kept plugging away on this. I thought it was a really, really hard puzzle, and I just happened to be in one of those moods, and I had a lot of extra time this week. But I took like 5 different runs at this thing and finally got it.
Nice.
It was a tough puzzle, man.
Nice. 36 down. Things scan nowadays. Those are QR codes.
Yeah.
And Greg, I was at a comedy club, and I was working. The waitress asked me if I was hungry, and I said yes, and she said, "Okay, just during COVID, you just scan this QR code. Those are our menus." So then I had to say, "Actually, I'm not hungry anymore, but I do know how to do that. Just so you know, but I'm not hungry."
So you were ashamed that you didn't know how to do that?
No idea how to scan a QR code.
You just take a picture of it with your camera, but you don't even have to hit click on the camera. I learned it during the code. That's the one thing that I did learn that during the pandemic. It took me the pandemic to get it. You act as if you're taking a picture of it with your camera, and then all of a sudden it uploads.
How? Because I was wondering how everyone knows this QR stuff, and
I know, man. I know. I'm with you, actually. I mean, I wouldn't have been embarrassed to ask a waitress how to do it. I don't have as much dumb pride as you do, but
I would just call it dumb. You don't have as much dumb as I do.
I don't. Not that either. That was. I mean, here's the thing. That's where I got messed up forever because. What's the clue on that?
Things scan nowadays.
Retinas fits.
Yeah, that's a good clue then. It's always a good clue when 2 things fit, you know?
It's a horrible clue. It really.
It's not
34
helpful.
down. Gradually become familiar with. That was ease into and dip toe in also fits. And I just got. That's where I got messed up for hours.
Oh
you know?
wow. Yeah. That'll do it. Yeah, I could have seen myself taking either of those routes.
The 58 down Van Gogh painting that once fetched a record amount at auction. That's Iris's, and it was 53.9 million is what they got for that, Brendan. And I was there that day, and the guy that paid 53.9 just either was just a really giant Van Gogh fan or pretty stupid, because the guy before him it was $75, and he just went right to 53. He got the auctioneer was like, I got 75. Do I hear 80? And the guy goes 53.9 million. And I was like, dude, I don't think you know how auctioning works, man. You've made a big jump there, and it was really a weird situation.
Don't tell me how to bid. I love irises.
Well, here's the thing. The guy was kind of stupid too, because he goes, I've always wanted to buy this picture about in let's say a Maya Angelou poem that's grammatically incorrect. He thought
are you doing an I rise joke, Greg? Is that
I rises? It took me a long time to get there, and boy, was it not worth it.
Wait, this is a painting? What the?
And to make matters worse, this was Sunday. We're still on Saturday, and I skipped to Sunday. Sorry, man. I had to get that Maya Angelou thing going. I was really excited.
I have a clue of the week nominee, 20 across temple offering abbreviation, and it's DEG, degree. I thought that was pretty cool.
Let's give that the award. They're talking about Temple University, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I mean, yeah.
Man, these guys need a lot of breath for that. That's hard. Brendan Emmett Quigley, you have won the one down clue of the week for your 20 across temple offering abbreviation degree. Please see us for your prize after the show. We do not have prizes. 2 down, Greg. Golfers near miss. That's a lip out. First of all, that phrase has always been weird to me, near miss, because a near miss to me applies a make. Do you know what I mean? If you nearly missed, you made it. And so that's always been a weird phrase in my mind. But it is.
And it's a modern phrase. You know what they called it before?
What?
A bit of insolence out.
But
then we go back to the Maya Angelou thing?
No. But the other thing about lip outs that are great, I was golfing with my dad a lot this summer, and because of COVID, and so golf was something that could kind of be open during COVID because you're out there by yourself, you're outside, you're not near anyone really, but they didn't want everyone touching the stick, the pin, so they put foam in all the holes, and so your ball didn't go down in there, so you didn't have to grab it. And as long as you hit the foam, it was in. So it was COVID rules. I made so many COVID rules pars, Greg.
You're going on the tour, from what I hear.
I mean, these things would have been 75 feet past the hole. I was just smashing that foam thing and being like, drop that baby dead center. Nice. Yeah.
Maybe they'll keep it up, man. Maybe that'd be just a thing with the game that just sticks, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, but 21 down, who is George Smiley? I don't understand.
No idea.
Okay.
Didn't look it up. Didn't care to.
I remember Guy Smiley from he was a game show host on Sesame Street.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
7 down. Informal name for Vespa mandarinia. mandarinia, and that's the murder hornet. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but there was like a week, and I remember it because it was my last road week before New York was locked down. And COVID was just kind of making the news. But the real threat was seen as murder hornets. Yeah. Do you remember? It was like 1 week where they had it backwards, like just for a little bit, where they'd be like, deadly hornets may overtake the country. And in lesser news, there's some kind of flu going on in China. But really, it's the hornets to watch out for.
Yeah.
They really,
they kind of got that one wrong. That's all right, man.
Yeah, it's all right. You gotta. I mean, look, if there's murder hornets out there, I want to know. Regardless,
the thing is, who knows? Only time will tell. 2021 could be just all murder hornets.
And the wild part about that is it would be a relief.
Yeah,
people would feel better.
Probably wouldn't be as politically contentious of a phenomenon.
No, I think we can all get behind
murder hornet prevention.
Yeah. Sunday, December 6th. This was a Tony Orbach. Wonder if that's any relation to the great Jerry Orbach. I don't know. The title of the puzzle was "Get Out of Here," and basically he removed "of" from phrases. He removed the word "of" from phrases. I think what was impressive was how many of them he did. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, literally 9 themed clues, which is a lot. So instead of bone of contention, it was just bone contention, stroke genius, book genesis, and so forth, with kind of, pun-like clues. So I was impressed because of how many he got. Also, I caught on to this theme pretty quickly, and it made the puzzle a lot easier.
Yeah, it did. Brennan, just for the record, can't find whether or not Jerry Orbach is related to Tony Orbach. However, Jerry Orbach did win a Tony Award.
It's close enough for me. Okay. So Tony Orbach, Jerry Orbach's son / award.
No, I don't know if that's I don't know if you can quite, a couple. I don't know about that. What elder son Tony? I don't know. Maybe there is something to it here. I don't know.
It says elder son Tony.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like in Google, I can't quite find it within.
That's all right. That's all right. 74 across highway offense. That's a DUI. And I was listening to sports talk radio this week leading up to a big Browns game, which we won today, and I was pumped about.
Happy for you, man.
And there's just an ad that goes, "No one should drive drunk, but if you do and happen to get caught, I'm your man."
Yeah, that's
Ken something or other, Cleveland's top DUI lawyer.
Yeah, that's
like, what kind of specialty is it? What are you arguing? Like, what are you going in there? Like, yeah, he was drunk, but I don't know. Could we do a little less time?
Oh, yeah, those guys are all cheese balls, man. They there's big, like the D. I got one after a show. Some guy gave me his card. He's like, "Oh, hey, man, you ever get in trouble? I'm the DUI king of Illinois," or something like that. And that's his name, DUI king.
Yeah. And then there's some other guy going like, "Hey, man, I've had 13, so you might be a lawyer, but I'm the king."
Yeah. 96 down, liquor store purchase. That's 5th. I've always thought that was a bad sort of irresponsible term for that amount of alcohol, because it's a good sized bottle of whiskey, and drunks are going to be like, you drank that whole bottle. Yeah, it's 20% of what a normal bottle is. It's a fifth,
right? Also,
I only drank a fifth of a bottle.
Right. Also, I don't even think they sell a whole. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to have a fifth, you got to have 5 fifths.
It's a gallon. It's a gallon is a fifth. Yeah, 128 ounces.
Yeah. Wait, a fifth is a gallon, or a
no,
fifth?
No, a fifth is a fifth of a gallon.
Right. Okay. So yeah. If you're going with a gallon of liquor, that's a lot. Another clever clue I wanted to point out as a runner-up: brand that comes out ahead, and that's Pez.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. That's
pretty cool, man. We don't do that, man. Once you give the award out, we don't talk about clues of the week.
I didn't know what something we did was tell us what we do.
For the life of me, I can't quite decipher that as a sentence. So you just what? You want to try that one again?
Well, I just mean that there's discussions on our rules and protocols. It's a two-man system. It's a voting system.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So you say no, I say I'll take that into account going forward.
Fine. It's just I think it's not the right way to do it. It's never the way that we've done it before. We say all the things, give them hope.
Well, then who's the criminal here? Well, then who's the criminal here? The guy who on Saturday said, go ahead and give it to that one? Or the guy who just minded his own business, did as he was told, but then thought he'd point out something Tony Orbach, Jerry Orbach's son deserves a little credit for? Who's the bad guy here, Greg?
The second guy.
Oh, shoot. Darn it. I thought for sure you'd think it was the first guy. Seemed like I made
90
it so
across,
clear.
stand-ups, bombs, comedy errors. That's, or comedy of errors was the pun there. But
right.
Here's the thing, man. And I think, yes, early on, and I've bombed plenty of times, and I certainly have made some errors. A lot of times, when you get to a certain point, when you bomb, a lot of times, I don't know if I'd blame the comic on it. I shouldn't say that, because I hate when guys are like, it was a crowd's fault. It's not necessarily. If a good comic bombs, a lot of time it's sort of the setting's fault, I think.
Yeah, sometimes I don't. What's weird is like sometimes as a good comic, you think you've bombed, and the audience all comes out and loved it.
No, you bombed, man. If you're talking about that Myrtle Beach show.
Well, see, here I am defending you. You're covering yourself up, and you're telling me I bombed. You know what? You bombed. No, you bombed.
I did bomb. I've bombed. I just said, I thought maybe you're talking about that Myrtle Beach show.
I wasn't. Nobody brought up the Myrtle Beach show, and that crowd was terrible, Greg. That crowd was horrible.
You bombed. You did bomb.
I didn't bomb.
No, you bombed.
You know what? You bombed.
I do. You just said that, and I copped to it. You know what? I revised my whole point. It's somewhat the comedian's fault. I was making a dumb point. There's times when I've bombed when I certainly could have probably not bombed had I handled it better. But these days, and there's also usually good comics don't bomb. They just sort of have a bad show, maybe,
You would be, first of all, I do agree with you, but you would be so mad if I were saying whatever rambling point you're trying to get
I know.
You would be down my throat going, that was a 37-minute
You're
way
right,
of,
man.
of
You're right.
excusing your bombing.
We can just maybe go back in the editing and get rid of it.
Leave it in. Leave it in for the record. The people must know.
Guys, I wasted a lot of time on the podcast. It was stupid. I didn't really know what I was saying, and I was waffling back and forth. The main thing I wanted to say about that is Brendan bombed in Myrtle Beach hard.
Man, it was a bad crowd. Anyway, literally, you could hear that noise in there. It was bad. It turned out there was a fireworks store next door, but I thought it was the bomb.
There is a fireworks store next door.
I know.
Christine's dad works there.
I know. That's been, which, by the way, I went in there. Fireworks, a lot more expensive than you'd think, Greg.
Yeah?
You're talking $300 for a premium package.
$300 for what?
Well, you get the works for that, but still,
okay.
I thought fireworks were like $10. Anyway, that's been one down. That's been one down. The double clean episode, baby.
The double clean. It happened. It happened.
It happened.
We shocked the world.
We shocked the world. Do you believe in miracles? Now, please do us a favor. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends. Rate it.
No,
review it, subscribe to it.
We go out on this one. We just go out celebrating. We don't go out whining and begging for people to,
Great.
tell their
we'll
friends
go out on
about
a fight. Perfect. We'll go out on a fight. You bombed too that night.
I've bombed before. I don't think I bombed that night in Myrtle Beach. I don't know. What? Is that the fireworks store? That's it.
One Down is hosted by Greg Warren and Brendan Eyre. Produced and edited by John Baldwin. Our theme song is written and performed by Henry Phillips. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcast.
One Down, the comedy crossword podcast.
Hey, my dark darlings. Hopefully, you've been enjoying our latest videos. We're a small crew here at Something Scary, so we have to make sure that the work that goes into our episodes gets done in order and on schedule. So that's why I want to tell you about our sponsor, Monday.com. Monday.com is an online teamwork platform that keeps your team connected from anywhere. I really enjoy the visual ease of using Monday.com. It helps banish the demons of confusing email chains or who's doing what and by when. It helps make sure everyone is aligned and on the same page. One of the things that I enjoy the most about Monday.com is that it's customizable, so it feels like it could fit any type of collaboration or industry. Build confidence within your team and reach every goal with ease. Visit Monday.com to start your free 2-week trial.